Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, the Association of Denominational Boards of Education has publicly challenged Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath over his perceived avoidance of a formal dialogue, expressing grave concern that the ministry is sidelining key stakeholders while schools' infrastructure and safety nets fray. Despite repeated requests for a sit-down, the ADBE contends that critical crisis ranging from chronic staff shortages and delayed grants to a rise in student indiscipline are being managed without the input of the boards that oversee a significant portion of the nation's primary and secondary institutions. By prioritizing unilateral policy rollouts such as new digital curricula over the resolution of these foundational staffing and special needs resource gaps, the ministry risks a total breakdown in the long-standing partnership between church and state that has historically anchored the education system. Now, definitely, as much as I wonder if all these, even denominational bodies were holding the Mighty Morphin Ghanaian Coalpot Bicycle PNM accountable, or were they having good communication with the PNM? I don't know. I can't remember. But we all know that these groups hold UNC to a different level, to a higher standard. Nevertheless, I do agree that the Minister of Education should be communicating with these groups. That is your job, Minister, and you need to get it done. The Water and Sewage Authority has successfully completed grueling emergency repairs to a ruptured 36-inch transmission main at Beetham Gardens, signaling the end of a multi-day disruption that paralyzed water supplies across large swaths of North and Central Trinidad. While coming from Diego Martin yesterday with my family, we saw it as well. That looked like a huge fountain. Wow. Under the direct supervision of acting CEO Dane Maraj, technical crews worked around the clock to replace a critical segment of the aging infrastructure, which had failed due to a combination of corrosive soil conditions and heavy vibration from the nearby highway. While service restoration is now officially underway, the authority warns that recharging the massive pipeline network is a delicate process, meaning residents in high elevation or even peripheral areas may experience a further lag before full pressure returns to their taps. In other words, you mightn't get any water, even if you're getting it, might be trickling. But the good news is, under the UNC people, WASA is responding to these issues and these problems more efficiently, and they're more effective at doing their jobs. They're being held accountable for their actions. Of course, we must give credit to Barry Padarath for that as well.
Friday, May 8, 2026 weather summary. The day will be mostly sunny, hazy, and breezy. Conditions are expected to be generally fair, though there is a low 30% chance of brief afternoon showers. Temperature at high will be 31 degrees Celsius and the low will be 25 degrees Celsius. Saharan dust. A mild concentration of Saharan dust will be present, creating hazy skies throughout the day. Wind. Expect easterly winds around 10 miles per hour, becoming breezy at times. Humidity. Average humidity will be around 65%. Sun and moon. Sunrise, 5:43 am. Sunset, 6:18 p.m. Moon phase, last quarter.
Regional news now. In a week defined by economic and legislative tension, President Dr. Irfan Ali used a global stage in Houston to reaffirm the sanctity of Guyana's energy contracts, signaling a commitment to investors in stability, even as local authorities deal with rising school safety concerns. This push for executive efficiency was mirrored in Jamaica, where the government's NARA, N-A-R-R-A bill, designed to fast-track post-hurricane reconstruction, met sharp resistance from church groups wary of unchecked state power. These developments highlight a region struggling to reconcile the need for rapid high-level development with essential demands of transparency and grassroots security. Simultaneously, the Eastern Caribbean pivoted toward structural modernization and fiscal discipline to address long-standing systemic leaks. Barbados defended its new immigration reforms at the United Nations as a vital fix for its shrinking workforce, while St. Vincent and the Grenadines launched a major crackdown on property tax non-compliance to bolster its national coffers. I don't like that property tax, I think at all. But in their mind, that is how they're going to generate revenue, and they probably have been doing that for a long time. Thankfully, our UNC government got rid of the property tax. Whether through SVG's integration into a regional AI accelerator or the Bahamas' cautious debate over WTO membership, the week's events underscores a collective effort to overhaul legacy institutions in the face of modern economic realities. International news now. The United States of America continues to project strength through a robust naval blockade designed to choke off the Iranian regime's ability to finance regional instability and proxy warfare. This week, U.S. forces successfully repelled unprovoked Iranian aggression in the Strait of Hormuz, responding with surgical strikes that underscore the administration's peace through strength doctrine. So nobody can say that they start back the war. Eh? All right. While diplomatic channels remain open for a potential 14-point peace accord, which I don't believe that will ever be effective because the Iranian Ayatollah and IRGC will violate it. But nevertheless, so while diplomatic channels remain open for a potential 14-point peace accord, Washington has made it clear that any deal is contingent upon Tehran's total abandonment of its nuclear ambitions, which I don't think they will give up, and the restoration of absolute freedom of navigation in global waterways. Once again, I don't think they will stop targeting these ships. They believe they own the Strait of Hormuz. And even if they don't believe they own it, they believe that that's the only way to be able to force America and the whole of Europe and so forth into compliance. They believe that they can make... well, they have basically done it with Europe. Eh? Europe basically submitted to them. But America do. Not under Trump. Maybe if, God forbid, Democrats win in 2028, yeah, well then, yeah, might be able to control them. In Israel, the campaign to restore national security reached a new milestone with the precision neutralization of top Hezbollah leadership in Beirut, a decisive blow to the command structure threatening the nation's northern border. These operations, coupled with the systemic dismantling of terrorist infrastructure in Lebanon, demonstrate an unwavering commitment to regional order that aligns with American interests and the interests of the entire world, securing the world from really radical jihadists that just want to destroy everybody who refuses to convert. By maintaining military pressure while pursuing strategic diplomacy, the U.S.-Israel alliance is forcing a recalibration of the Middle Eastern balance of power, favoring sovereign stability over state-sponsored chaos and terrorism. Western civilization values democracy. I'm telling you, I will never understand why Caribbean people have a problem with that, just because it was basically founded by the so-called colonials. You all enjoy freedom that you find in democratic countries, and yet they demonize the people that actually introduced it. And you actually support the communists in our region, like in Cuba and in Venezuela. How? While you enjoy freedom, their people are suffering under the iron fist rule of tyrants for decades, and yet all you doing is supporting the government instead of supporting the actual people, the Cubans who want deliverance, the Venezuelans who want deliverance. You supported the government instead and then playing as though you care about sovereignty. You don't care about the people's human rights in those countries, though.
Bible quote of the day. Romans 11:20-26. Granted. But they were broken off because of unbelief, and you stand by faith. Do not be arrogant, but tremble. For if God did not spare the natural branches, he will not spare you either. Consider therefore the kindness and sternness of God, sternness to those who fell, but kindness to you, provided that you continue in his kindness. Otherwise, you also will be cut off. And if they do not persist in unbelief, they will be grafted in, for God is able to graft them in again. After all, if you were cut out of an olive tree that is wild by nature, and contrary to nature were grafted into a cultivated olive tree, how much more readily will these, the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree? I do not want you to be ignorant of this mystery, brothers and sisters, so that you may not be conceited. Israel has experienced a hardening in part until the full number of the Gentiles has come in, and in this way all Israel will be saved. As it is written, the deliverer will come from Zion, he will turn godlessness away from Jacob.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's headline news. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe, most of all, in Jesus' name.